So security policies, business process security policy allows you to perform the business process transaction. What are all the business process transaction? Initiation is one of the business process transaction. Approval is one of the business process transaction. Cancel is one of the business process transaction. Resign is one of the business process transaction. Reassign is one of the business process transaction. And correction is one of the business process transaction. Okay. So meaning that if you wanted to create anything in Workday, almost 95% of the transactions that we create in Workday are associated with the business process. Okay. Example, associate business process, hiring an employee, terminating an employee. You have a task called hire an employee. You have a task called terminate employee. You have a task called promote an employee. You have a task called transfer an employee. You have a task called create position. You have a task called change benefits for an employee. Okay. You have a task called place worker on leave. You have a task called return worker from leave. These are all the tasks. But ideally, all these tasks behind the screen are associated with the business process. Each of these tasks has their own business process associated. Example, hire an employee, hire business process. Terminate an employee, terminate business process. Okay. Promote an employee, job change business process. Change, add benefits to employee, change benefits business process. Okay. And transfer an employee, job change business process. So this every business process, every task that we have in Workday are associated with business process in Workday. Okay. 95% of the tasks that we have in Workday are associated with business process. 5% I can say, okay, some tasks that we perform in Workday are not associated with business process. They're individual tasks. Example, create company, create supervisor organization, create cost center, create company hierarchy, create cost center hierarchy. These are the tasks that we will be allowed to create organizations. But ideally, they are not associated with any of the business process. Those are individual tasks. Okay. So any tasks that are associated with business process will come under PP security policy with the transaction that we perform. Example, hire an employee if you're able to, or create position. If you're able to create position, meaning that you have initiation permissions for that. That's the reason why you're able to create position. If you're not able to create position means you don't have initiation permissions for create position business process. Right?
Right.
And similarly, approval. If you're able to submit a leave request and manager is not able to approve that leave request means manager does not have permissions to approve. It does not have approval transaction permissions at leave request business process action. Okay. Does not have approval transaction permissions at request leave of absence business process. Similarly, cancel is one of the business process transaction. Okay. So any transaction that is in progress can be cancelled actually. Okay. If you're hiring an employee, okay, hire business process has got triggered actually. And hire process is in progress. And when the process is in progress, the candidate for whom hire is actually triggered reached out to HR saying that I'm withdrawing my offer. I don't want to join this organization. I'm withdrawing my offer. Okay. So in that case, hire is not meaningful now. If you hire an employee, that's waste actually. Because employee candidate who is shortlisted for this position is not getting hired, is not joining actually. So there is no need for you to proceed with further hire process. So you can cancel that one. Since the transaction is in progress, right? You can cancel it. Since the transaction is in progress, you can cancel. You cannot proceed further because even if you proceed further, there is no meaning actually because candidate is not joining, no?
Yes.
So the transaction called cancel can come here and you can cancel that one. When you will be able to cancel this? When you have cancel transaction permissions for that higher business process. Then only you can cancel. And the other important thing here is only in progress things can be cancelled. Once the hire is completed, employee is hired into the system, we cannot cancel again. Okay.
Mm.
When it is in progress, you can cancel. So when you can cancel is when you have cancel transaction permissions at higher BP process. Similarly, all other business process. Okay. You can take create position, you can take, let's say create position is getting created. And later on, your finance team says that we all the position creations are on hold because of the budget issues. We don't want to have any positions to be created. So since position has got triggered now, if it is completed, position is already created, you cannot cancel it. Okay. If it is in progress, creation is in progress, then you can cancel. How you can cancel? When you have permission set, create business process, create position business process, cancellation transaction permissions when you have, you can cancel them. Before that, you cannot cancel.
Okay.
Similarly, clear, right? Till here, any confusion
Right.
here?
No. Yes, clear.
Cancel. And then resign. Resign is also one of the business process transaction. It is completely opposite to cancel.
Okay.
Here we are saying we can cancel when the transaction is in progress, right? And we
Yeah.
cannot cancel when the transaction is complete, is what we are talking about cancel. This is opposite to that actually. We can resign the transaction when the transaction is complete, but we cannot resign the transaction when the transaction is in progress. So meaning that resign is nothing but which will be removing the transaction from Workday. So you have same example if you take, you have initiated a hire for an employee. Okay. And the hire transaction has got completed, employee got hired into the system. And tomorrow employee is going to join actually. And we will be getting an information from, we'll be getting information from,
Sir.
we'll be getting from information from candidate that
Okay.
candidate is not joining and candidate has declined the offer. Kind of information we'll be getting. But candidate has got already hired into the system. Okay. Now here you cannot cancel. You have an option to resign the transaction. Since the transaction is already completed now, you can resign it. When you resign that, the hire record will get removed from the system. It will be there in the transaction history, but will not be showing as an active employee. That record will be removed from the system actually. So when you resign that, the record will be removed from the system. Hire record will be removed from the system. You are able to do this because you have a resign permission set, higher business, higher business process, security permissions you have. For that reason, you are able to resign. Okay. So cancel can be done in progress. Resign can be done when it is complete. These are the two differences that you need to have.
Okay.
Clear between these two? Any questions?
Yeah. Cancel means before approving you can cancel it. Resign means
Before completing. Before
before
complete.
before completed.
Yeah.
Resign
When it is
means
complete, you cannot cancel.
once okay before okay.
Yeah.
Resign means it's rollback or
They can think rollback. Yeah.
okay.
So you are revoking that act.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the same will be in interview question. When you attend for a security certification, these are all
Okay.
the points that you will be questioned in
Ask.
certification actually. So if
Okay.
anyone goes deep dive into security, so these are all the things that you need to deliver actually.
Okay.
Someone asks you what is business process security policy, you need to explain this as an example.
Okay.
Okay. What is an approval? What is a cancellation? When do you cancel? When do you resign? And kind of questions you might have. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You're clear, right? You have any
Yeah.
confusion here?
No confusion here. No.
Okay. Cancel can be done when it is in progress. Resign can be done when it is complete.
Okay. It is complete.
Okay.
Okay. Got it. Understood.
Okay. So
Yeah.
reassign. Okay. When you see reassign,
Mm-hmm.
assigning the task from one person to other person. Let's
Okay.
say you as an employee have submitted a leave request actually. Okay. And that goes to your manager.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you have configured business process in such a way actually.
Okay.
Leave request has gone to your manager, and your
Mm.
manager is not in office, he's out of office actually. Okay. Your manager is out of office and is not able to approve that one. And your
Mm-hmm.
leave date has come, and you have reached out to HR saying that my manager is not there. My leave request has to get approved. It is not yet because my manager is out of office. So what your HR will do is, whatever the task that is sitting in your manager inbox, you will be reassigning that from your manager to your manager's manager or any other person.
Mm-hmm.
How HR is able to do that? Because HR is having permission set request leave of absence business process for reassign transaction. That's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why HR is able to do.
Right.
Understood, right?
Yeah, understood. Yeah. System is already configured, but only HR will have access. Then they will reassign. Only HR
Yeah.
people will reassign.
HR will have, the team will
Permissions.
have.
Okay.
Okay. If HR is not able to do, work the team can do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Generally, all these things, operational things, HR will be taking care.
Got it.
So all
Okay.
these things, they need to give us as part of requirements. When we are configuring a business process security policy, who to
Mm.
perform what has to be defined by the business, and based on the business request, we will be configuring the business process security policy for business process action.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say create position. Who should have permissions to create position? They'll give list of security.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be configuring the business process security policy for create position business process at initiation level. Similarly, who should have cancel? Who should have resign? Who should be reassigning? Who should have correction permissions? So all these things they will be giving. If they
Mm-hmm.
are not giving, as an implementation partner who are implementing, right? They will be
Right.
explaining all these things to business action. So this is
Mm-hmm.
how it works. These are all the things should be taken care, and how you want to do.
This
Your
business.
implementation partner will explain,
Mm.
or based on their experience with other customers, they will actually show some examples. And based on that, business can understand, they can give their understanding and their requirements. And based on that, implementer will be configuring the business process security policy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is for reassign. And
Mm.
similarly, correction. Anything that anything that is in progress or anything that is in already completed.
Okay.
If you wanted to correct that, let's say for example, hire. Okay. You already hired an employee or you're hiring an employee. So employee has reached out saying that, hey, can you move my hire date from this date to this date? Okay, can you move 2 weeks ahead from current hire date because I have some emergency? I cannot join on this date. Please move my hire date from this date to this date. So here you'll be correcting the hire date from one to other hire date. So how you're able to do that? Because you have correction permission transaction for hire business process. That is the reason why you're able to perform hire date correction.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. These are the only steps or any other steps in
These are
transaction?
not steps actually, these are transactions.
Sorry, transactions. Yeah.
Yeah, these are only transactions that we have in business process security policy. Steps
Got
are
it.
different. Okay, steps comes at configuration actually. These comes
Okay.
under security.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
These are transactions basically. Okay.
Yeah, these are all the transactions that comes behind the screen. Once it is
Mm-hmm.
configured, you'll not be touching these again.
Mm-hmm.
These are done at implementation stage. Only when there is a change in the security, you'll come back and do changes for the security.
Mm-hmm.
Steps are different. Okay, steps and conditions are completely different.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so there is a reason why we call business process security policy as allows you to perform a business process transaction. And these are all
Mm.
the business process transactions.
Transactions, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you are attending a certification, right?
Yeah.
Mandatory certification question would be on security policies. I don't know whether interviews people will be touching, but this is a very basic and a fundamental. Definitely, people might ask. And
Yeah.
you cannot say standard definition when someone asks you. So your explanation should be something like real-time use case description actually, so that they can understand your level of expertise actually.
Got it.
If
Okay.
you just go with standard definition, security policy or two types, one type is this one type is this one. If you explain this one, that would be a kind of junior level
Okay.
person who just got trained. How they'll explain, right? It will be in that way. But expertise, who have a complete hands-on on the security, right? They can actually
Mm.
go with some kind of use case description. What all the things comes under security policy, they can take a use case and describe that one. So as how I was saying, right? Hiring an
Right.
employee or leave of absence or create position. You can take any business process as an example and talk about these transactions.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Clear, right?
Yeah. Clear. Yeah. One
Now
of
tell me
the
what. Now tell me completely on the business process security policy till what we have discussed in all the transactions.
So we in the business transactions, like we talking about hiring an employee or anything first step is first transaction is initiation, no matter the
Mm-hmm.
first.
Mm-hmm.
Then so once the transaction is started, then whether people can approve or cancel, or if already before completing the transaction, they can cancel it. Or when the transaction completed, then they can resign it.
Yeah.
Like when if it's when we discussed about anything, right? So something is we are waiting for approval or anything or something that has to be use another business process. We can they can say transaction for reassigning. If something is not somebody is not available or something is not
Mm.
there, we can reassign. So
Yeah.
we can correction also.
Yeah.
Any something is wrong or some start date or going to be and anything this then we need to
Anything
see.
can be. So I've taken
Mhm.
example as one date actually, but there can be anything actually.
Yeah, that
If
the
you wanted to
correction.
change the title, okay, once employee has got hired, if you want to change the job title, you
Yeah,
can correct
yeah,
the job title by correcting that
right.
one. Okay. So all these things comes under business
Mm.
process security policy. Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Then comes under domain security policy. Okay. Domain security policy will allow you to see the data and modify the data.
Mm.
Whatever you're seeing in Workday, whatever you're viewing in Workday, whatever you're able to edit in Workday are based on the domain securities that you're associated with the security group. Okay.
Mhm.
You're able to see your compensation. You're able to see
Mm.
your performance goals that you need to submit. You're able to see your personal data. You're able to see you're able to edit your personal data. You're able to see your contact information. You're able to edit your contact information. So all these things you're able to perform through
Mm.
domain
Mm.
security policies.
Mm.
Okay. When you have such kind of view and modify permissions, you'll be able to view as well as modify the data. Okay.
Mhm. Got it. Okay. Mhm.
And similarly,
Mm.
for domain security policy, also you can see get and put actually. Okay. Get and put is related to integrations. Okay.
Yeah.
View and modify allows you to view the data and modify the data. And get and put permissions will allow you to
Yeah.
it allow your integration to
Get the data and yeah,
pull that
set the
information or load that information. If it is
okay.
outbound integration, if that
Yeah.
integration has get permissions,
Yeah.
let's say personal data. Okay. If you're running an integration and if that integration user that is associated with the integration has get permissions for personal data, then it will be able to pull that personal information. Similarly, the same if it is inbound integration, if you're able to load the personal data means you need to have put permissions actually. Put permissions will allow you to load, get permissions will allow you to extract and send outside of Workday. Okay. So these two are core fundamentals actually.
Security one.
So if you can write a summary when when someone asks something about security. Okay. Can you tell me what you know about security? If someone asks, you need to give half an hour description actually, so that they'll not ask any other question after that.
Okay.
If you know entire kind of features of these two policies, so whatever the example that we have discussed, right? You can actually explain this for 15 to 20 minutes. The person will not have any other question actually, because these two are key assets of security, and you're able to keep it in well formatted way, and that person can understand, yes, this person has worked on all these things. There shouldn't be any kind of concerns on the security knowledge for you. Okay. So once you are aware of all this, then comes types of security. Based on this understanding, you will be defining the types of security, how you want to have based on your needs actually.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Understood.
Before knowing the types of security, you need to understand constrained versus unconstrained. Okay. What is a constrained security? What is unconstrained security? You know that?
In my constraint means restricted, like unconstrained bit, like no, not restricted on like anything, not full full access. Yeah. Then like based on by creating any security group based on like it's a local or like domain, and depending on the role, we can give constraint or unconstraints like any. But like some not administrator, other than administrators, we always goes as a constraint while creating a security group. So one constraint means all the administrators will get unconstrained because they have like larger access of the different levels basically.
Yeah. Constraint is restricted, but on what basis it is restricted? You're aware of that?
No, maybe we can.
Yeah. Unconstrained, it is unlimited actually. There is no restriction. It's a kind of standalone actually. Okay. But constraint is restricted actually. But on what basis it is restricted?
Based on that domain, based on level of security or
Based on the organization, it is restricted. Constraint security means
organization level only.
based on org level, access is restricted. If
Oh,
you wanted to provide to anyone to control personal data for only India employees, then what you need to define? You need to create a constraint security based on India company or India cost center or India location hierarchy. Based on this organization type, you can restrict permissions to India only.
Okay.
Let's say HR partner is there. Okay. HR partner is there. HR partner responsibility is to manage HR data for an employee. But that HR partner should be specific to India, specific to Singapore, specific to Mexico, specific to US, specific to Canada. So, each country HR partner should have access to their own country, but should not have access to other country employees. India HR should have access to manage HR data for India employees, but should not have access to US employee, Canada employee, Australia, Mexico, other countries. So here, constraint security group comes into picture. You're going to restrict the permissions for company. Based on company, you're trying to restrict access.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what Constraint security talks about actually. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, right.
unconstrained security can be unlimited. Okay. With respect to the organization, your permissions are wide actually.
Mm-hmm.
The same personal data, let's say HR partner is there. HR partner, you have given personal data domains based on
Mm-hmm.
company actually. So when you give based on company, HR partner from India should have access to manage the personal information of an employee who is from India, but should not have access to US employee or Canada employee or Australia employee because access is restricted here. Constrained access is restricted here. That's where HR is limited for that particular organization.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
similarly, if you take unconstrained,
there were
same HR should have access to personal data globally. So
globally,
here, constraint will
local.
not come. So here, administrator access should come because it's a unconstrained security. So HR administrator comes into the picture. Okay, HR administrator will give personal information domain. So anyone who is associated with HR administrator should access the personal data, but will not have any restriction. Can access employee personal information who sits in India, who sits in Canada, who sits in the US, who sits in Australia. There is no limitation here. The same personal information can be accessed for any employee globally. That's what unconstrained talks about. There is no limitation for unconstrained security.
Okay.
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 So she is in similar way, you can take any permissions actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what your
And
unconstrained security and constrained security talks about.
yeah, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, constraint is like this organization level, and constraint means like
Yeah.
not.
These are the basic level of understanding of security action. Based on these fundamentals, you can actually frame your security groups, how you wanted to define or create your security groups.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got it.
So based on that, whatever the security that we have created will
Makes
work
sense.
on
Okay.
this. Okay.
Right.
So that's how we created role-based security. If you see,
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
for an employee, Monica. Okay. So we are actually testing Monica actually. So Monica is assigned with people
Mm.
partner security group. Okay. People partner role-based security group, which is constrained one actually. Okay. People
Right.
partner constrained security group for a company called GMS USA. Okay.
Right.
So whatever permissions are assigned for this people partner security group should be restricted for
So, yeah.
GMS USA. Okay. So this is a role-based security group, constrained one actually. Okay. You know the steps of creating, right? If you want to create a role-based security
Yeah,
constraint, you need to create a role first. Okay. You need to create a role first and assign this role to role-based security group actually. Okay. So we
right.
assign role created for role-based security constraint one
And yeah.
with the same name actually, people partner. Okay. And then we've assigned all these permissions actually. Okay. You can see. So all the personal data, compensation data. Okay. You can see the personal functional area. So basically functional area will define all the functional areas. Okay. So personal data, compensation permissions and payroll data, contact, learning, advanced compensation, all these permissions we have given actually. Okay.
Mm.
So benefits, payroll, Basically, all the benefits, compensation, okay, and personal data, permissions that we have given. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this employee, Monica, should be able
Mhm.
to access this information for any for any employee from GMS USA company,
Company. Okay.
because that is restricted. No, people
Yeah.
from this
This
company role
one,
is restricted for
one,
GMS
yeah,
USA.
this
Okay.
organization.
Now she should be able to, Monica
Mhm.
should be able to view all the permission that we have assigned for people partner role for only employees from this company. Okay. And also, there is one more company added. So same role is added for Thailand company. Okay. For these two companies, Monica can actually access this information. But anyone from other companies cannot access. Now we will test this one. Okay.
Okay.
How we will test? We need to take two examples actually. Two example employees. Okay. Now
Mm.
Jacqueline is from GMS
Some other.
USA company. Okay.
Mm.
Jacqueline is from GMS USA company.
Okay.
She is from GMS
Yeah.
USA company. Okay. And similarly, other employee,
Mm-hmm. And the space. GH.
so she is from Thailand actually. Okay. Thailand company. Okay. So these two employees data Monica can
Mm.
access because she's having permissions to view GMS USA
Yeah.
company employees and GMS Thailand company employees. Okay. Now
Yeah.
since this one is from GMS Thailand, another one from GMS USA, she should be able to access any data with the permission that was in for these two employees, but anyone outside of these two companies will not be able to. Okay. Let's see. Proxy is Monica. Okay. Proxy is Monica. And proxying as Monica and accessing Jacqueline information. Okay, now we can see. So Monica is able to see Jacqueline's personal information. Okay. Able to see this personal information. Able to see benefits.
Mm.
Okay, all the benefit plan that is assigned. And able to see performance data.
Mm.
Okay. Able to see what else we have added.
Person. Yeah.
Personal information we were able to see. Okay. And benefits we were able to see. Payroll information we were able to see all the payment elections, pay inputs and all, everything we were able to see. Okay. The same information
Mm.
you'll not be able to see other than GMS USA or Thailand
Yeah.
employees. Let's see. For Thailand employee also, she should be able to see. same information if employee has that information. Okay. So taking this employee, Singaseni, who is from Thailand company. Okay. So now for Thailand employee, same information Monica is able to see because we are boxing as Monica. She is able to see all the personal information, benefits. Okay. So you're able to see the benefits tab actually, meaning that benefits permissions we have. Okay. So Singaseni does not have any benefit because Thailand employees does not have any benefits as US employee. So she has an access, but there is no data for her to see. Similarly, payroll. Okay. So she's able to see all the pay inputs, pay elections, all these things able to see because we're able to see these tabs, right? Meaning that she has permissions actually. Okay. And similarly, what else? Performance. Okay. So all the competencies, feedbacks should be able to see. So now we have tested for the permissions that Monica has. She's assigned with
Right.
people partner role for GMS company and GMS US
Okay.
and GMS Thailand company. That's the reason why she's able to see
All the
those two
employees.
country employees data. Now we'll access Canada employees and see whether Monica is able to see or not. Okay. So whether she has access to view company because we are not provided any permissions for view company. Who is from Canada company
Okay.
and see whether Monica has access to personal information or not. Okay. See, she is not seeing any personal information. Okay.
Yeah.
She is not seeing any personal information like marital status, all those
Okay.
things, gender. You cannot see that tab itself here. For other two
Yeah.
folks, you were able to see. But for Canada employee, you're not able to see. And similarly, you're not seeing any benefits menu here, or you cannot see
Yeah.
any payroll here. Okay. You cannot see at least benefits and payroll menus in the list actually because she does not have access to that data. That's the reason why she is not able to. Okay. Here she has access to ID information. That is the reason why it is showing actually. Maybe it comes for employee as self-security group. That is the reason why she is able to see. But personal information permission that we have assigned, she is not able to see that information because we have restricted that to only for US and Thailand companies actually. That's the reason why she is not able to see. And also the pay group, whatever provision that we have added, since pay is not there, she does not have any access to payroll data. And also,
Okay.
performance also, you can see nothing. We were having performance competencies for the other two folks. Here, he does not have anything actually.
Okay.
So,
This is restricted.
that's where your access is restricted based on the company.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's what constraint security group talks about actually. Type can be anything. It can be role based, it can be job based, it can be any other. Okay. But the functionality will be the same as how we are seeing now. Okay.
Okay.
You're able to understand clearly now?
Yeah, I understood. Understood. No, understood.
Okay. So that should be a basic fundamental for you actually. Okay.
Yeah.